Bill and I both work for the Insurance and Financial Services Ombudsman scheme, the IFSO scheme. We deal with all sorts of complaints, but I'm going to talk to you about insurance claims today, because particularly earthquake insurance claims, because I thought that would give you a flavour of that kind of work that we do as well. So we deal with about 3,000 calls a year with complaints, or we call them complaint inquiries, and then we investigate 300 of those as full investigations of complaints. Since the Canterbury earthquakes, we have taken 1,800 calls from people, and we have formally investigated 194 complaints in relation to earthquake claims. So the same as the other schemes, we try to reach a resolution by agreement, and if that doesn't work, then we can issue a decision. In relation to Southern Response, we have a much wider jurisdiction. They've agreed that we can look at things, we'll give them their customers more flexible access to our scheme, so details of that are on our website as well. If you have got someone who has a Southern Response earthquake issue, you can give us a call and we can talk you through that too. So in terms of the outcomes, most of the outcomes we don't find in favour of the customer, but what we are finding in relation to Canterbury earthquake claims is that we're reaching far greater agreements as the resolution, and you can see from those graphs there. So we call settled when we kind of meet in the middle, or where there's an agreed outcome between the parties. And a lot of that work is facilitated by our case managers. So our case managers get involved in negotiation, help suggest outcomes, and usually agree next steps to get the claims back on track, which is usually what the problem is, and hopefully get people back into their homes repaired. Before we do a case study though, we're going to hand out our brand new information sheet. This is about how people can resolve problems if they have problems with earthquake repairs. So I'll just get maybe someone else to help. Christine will too. So this is our kind of launch today. You're our target audience, if you like, here. This is based on the experience of people who call with problems. What we want to do is we want to prevent them turning into major issues, which we investigate because that just delays things. We want to help people help themselves, empower consumers and your clients to fix the issues themselves. So these are really practical. They're not kind of chapter and verse. These are practical things that your clients can do to help move any issue on and hopefully get a resolution to any issues that they have with the repairs there. We have lots of these kind of information sheets which are available on our website. If you want extra copies, give us a call and we'll just post them out to you for free. But this one in particular we thought was a really timely one, because what we're noticing is the shift from people calling us with kind of the primary claim, if you like, to more when they're having problems or issues, or they've got questions about the repairs that have been done to their house. So this is aimed at helping people resolve those issues without our involvement, but we're really happy to be involved if that's necessary to resolve those issues too. So have a read over it. Bill and I are here to discuss it at any time today at the back of the room. And we're going to talk through, again, more earthquake examples just to give you a flavour of the kind of work that we've been doing so far in relation to those. So I'll pass it over to Bill, who's going to talk you through one of his cases.
Kevin and Kath's house was damaged by the Canterbury earthquake, so they made a claim on their insurer. The insurer went out and assessed the damage, and it was significant. So repairs were sorted and a building contract was arranged between Kevin and Kath and the insurer and the building contractor. Repairs went ahead and were completed, at which stage Kevin and Kath were not very happy. They had a long list of defects. So there were meetings and arrangements made to remediate. So the original contractor came in and carried out remediation. Okay, that should have sorted things, but no, it didn't. There were still some defects. So at this stage, Kevin and Kath were pretty upset, so they referred a complaint to the IFSO scheme, that's us. And that's where I became involved. And looking at this was difficult because the first responsibility is on the builder to make right. And the builder hadn't made right in this stage, and the relationship was completely broken down. There was no way that Kevin and Kath wanted that contractor back on their premises. So I talked to the insurer and I talked to Kevin and Kath, and we came up with an approach whereby we would get a loss adjuster, an independent loss adjuster, to come out and evaluate these defects and see if they could sort out what it would cost to remedy and to make good any contractor negligence. So the agreement was that the insurer and Kevin and Kath would be bound by whatever the loss adjuster found. So the loss adjuster found that it would cost about $22,000 to remediate. So the insurer paid up and the house was sorted. That case study is on the note that you've got there, so you can read that at your leisure. Kevin and Kath weren't real names. I'll pass back to Virginia.
Thank you. Thanks, Bill. The next case study we're going to look at is a slightly older one, 2 years old. This was Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They had a red zone house. The insurer costed the rebuild of their house at $390,000. Mr. and Mrs. Smith had their own QS price the rebuild, and that came in at $638,000. So reasonable distance between those two. On the basis of we'll call him Bill, their QS, the insurer revisited its costings and costed it at $409,000, still a significant gap between the two costings. The Smiths were under significant financial pressure at this stage. The bank wouldn't assign the mortgage as required to complete the Sarah red zone offer without the insurance claim being resolved. Sarah advised the Smiths that they were under default under the agreement and they risked penalty interest or issue with a settlement notice. The Smiths in the meantime had taken out a bridging loan to buy a new house because they couldn't live in their old house, and their mortgagee was threatening to foreclose on the mortgage. So really awful situation, incredibly stressful. Their marriage had broken down as well in the meantime, so it was not a very good place for them to be. So they made a complaint to us at that point. Then we had a discussion to try and negotiate a resolution. That didn't work, and in September we issued an interim decision requiring the insurer to pay as a first payment its agreed costings, the amount that it thought that it owed, that $409,000, with the view that we would see what else needed to be paid, but in order to alleviate the immediate financial pressure that they were under, to allow them to work through the Sarah settlement and also for their current mortgage issue. So we had discussions. We facilitated a meeting with everybody, including all the QSs. It was a large table that we all sat round to do that with. We worked through almost all of the issues at that one meeting, face-to-face meeting with everyone. It was the first face-to-face meeting that they'd all ever had together. And then the QSs worked together largely after that meeting for the few issues. And then in December, they finalised what they thought that the rebuild would cost, and the Smiths agreed to that rebuild costing in January. So it was a really good outcome for them in the end. But as I said to you, these most of the Canterbury earthquake complaints that we're investigating need this kind of hands-on negotiated outcome, because there's no cut and dry answer, and if there was, it would take too long. So we're really aiming to help people move things along there. That's lots more information on our website as information sheets and at the back, so please come and see us if you want to discuss anything. Thanks.